practice agriculture, given that 80% of what we eat is poisonous to the system?
Yeah, I always say that we are what we eat, and one of the reasons why we are sick is because we are sacrificing health on the altar of appetite. If we watch what we eat, then we are going to do much better. If you can improve on areas like garlic, garlic have a lot. It's a broad spectrum antibiotic. It's an immune booster. It's an anti-cancer agent. It will purify the blood. It will boost blood flow into the penis that will sustain, enhance, and maintain adequate erection. At the same time, it's a good relish in the kitchen that gives flavor. So these are aspects that we can actually, invest in. Garlic have a lot to do, a whole nutritional package. People keep on going to coffee, farming. We have a lot of medicinal plants that we can also start cultivating. And we'll get back into the village. Science have proven that plants cultivated on a virgin land have more medicinal properties. So we need that land. And where can we get that land? Back to the root, like my brother was saying. We have a lot of vast land that is still very virgin in our villages. I was just talking about beer farming. Every house needs a little bit of sugar. We have started discouraging white sugar because to some researchers, they feel that it is dirt in the pot. If diabetes is on an increase in the country today, it is because we take a lot of sugar. And science have proven that apart from fruit sugar, honey sugar still remained one of the best, because the value of honey too also increases on daily basis depending on the quality of the medicinal plants visited by the bee during nectar collection. So getting into some of these adventures is going to be a way forward. The government should come in and support bee farmers, encourage them, give them subventions, supervise them, and then get a good market for pure honey. Because another element is that of adulteration. People may need some sugar, but how do you get it? I think with the book of this nature, I've been struggling to talk a lot on the importance of honey and the disadvantages how to know pure honey and what have you. So please, we can get into that. I was talking about ginger, then medicinal animals too. When we're talking about agriculture, we are only insisting on crops. We are talking about fauna and flora. And we have a lot of animals that are medicinal. Like I'm talking about rabbit, have a lot in terms of medicine. We have a lot in snails in terms of medicine. I was just about honey, that's insect, I have a lot in terms of medicine. So let's get into those ventures. I think if we can get into commercializing honey farming in the country, it's going to at least help those who are,
We'll only be fighting hunger and poverty. We'll also be fighting unemployment and misery. Also, Mr. Jude Kebuma, how often do you meet rural farmers to sensitize them on the nature of their soil and the appropriate chemicals to be used for soil fertility? Because we understand fertilizers has a chemical repercussion on the soil, but it also have a detrimental impact on the health of a consumer.
Yeah, I have a consultancy, agricultural development and corporate management consultancy. And just a few weeks ago, back in small support, I just decided to form a CIG with some of the local guys to help themselves. Now, I meet local farmers every day. And one of the things that I'm passionate about is to tell people how to cultivate the soil and how to use the natural methods of cultivating the soil. Because when you go to Europe, if I back in Western world, Europe and America, they talk about organic products. Organic product is what sells. Any product is organic, the price is double. And most of the products we have here in Cameroon is organic. They are organic products. But now the problem comes also, how do you now sell your product or brand it organic? Now it's a whole bottleneck, because it's an organization that has to look at the product and give you the certification. So to certify the product, that's another thing. We don't need to talk about that. But what I want us to know is that by the time you go down to the farmers and talk to the farmers, fertilizer is not good. It will destroy your soil. No matter what you do, and it gets adaptability, it differs. Now, what we also don't know about fertilizers is when they make fertilizers, they make it for specific crops and specific purposes. Most of the farmers will just come, this is fertilizer. You take fertilizer that is meant for rubber. and put it in your farm, which is meant for cocoyams, what do you expect? Everything disappears. There's one cocoyam that we usually have in Southwest. We ate it, Igbo cocoa. We call it Igbo cocoa. It's extinct. It's no longer in Boya. It's not. Why? We need to do research on that. When we're talking about research here, we need to do a research on that. Why did that happen? And when you go far to see how it happens, then you tend to understand one thing. Most of these things are the use of fertilizers. It has come in so many forms. Then there's another thing that destroys the land that most of us don't talk about. But we use it every day, is eucalyptus. Now, you go to Northwest. The whole of Northwest is just eucalyptus everywhere. But eucalyptus kills the soil. The government needs to discourage the production of the planting of eucalyptus. If you come to a virgin land or water, if land that has a lot of water, and you put eucalyptus, I bet you within 3 years that water disappears.
Why not use it in maybe marshy areas?
You understand?
Want to fight drought.
And so when you put it there, if you plant eucalyptus here, every crop around it goes off because it's dominant. It takes everything. Now farmers need to know those things, because when they know these things, it will be easier for them. Eucalyptus was brought from New Zealand area and brought in Africa. That is not actually a tree that was in tropical Africa. No, it was brought here. But we are using, and they brought it because they needed wood, fast-growing wood for most of their industries. And that's how they brought it. So the point is, we should stop it. We're talking about drought and so many other things, but we're planting eucalyptus every day.
Let me just add something.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to buttress what my brother is saying. Even when it comes to medicinal plants, fertilizers affect the plants a lot. You know, we have a lot because vegetables contain a lot. Up to date, one of the best treatment for intestinal typhoid, let me use the local name so that people should, it's still okongobong. But if you get the okongobong that is cultivated with fertilizers, the medicinal properties are not retained. Years changes. We have to start looking for other alternatives. I know people will bring the idea of meeting up with the demand and productivity, but let it be left in the hands of experts. Experts should at least know the right dosage to apply. That is my point. Because fertilizers have a lot of impact. Garlic, dandelion, moringa, these are all wonderful plants. But if you start cultivating with fertilizers, the medicinal properties are not retained. Today, when you are going to Bamenda, pawpaw is wonderful. From the root, from the stems, the leaf. But it will not meet the purpose because the whole thing is being grown fertilizers. If you get the pawpaw today, it's not even sweet in the mouth again. You start questioning why. Because of too much fertilizers. So I buy what my brother is saying.
Mr. Emmanuel Ekunze, how about the voluntary institutes training youths, because some are interested but need the guidance and education which they don't have?
Okay, let me go back to what you're saying, then I'll come to that.
Okay.
I think because I'm looking really from a market perspective, because I don't buy this idea that government should do this, government should do that, marketing board here, marketing. He's just listed some items which we all agree that they're very commercially viable in Cameroon. They demand a very, very high price per kilogram, like ginger, garlic, pepper, those things. So if you look at cocoa, for instance, a kilogram of cocoa is roughly between 700 and 1,000 francs, depending on which season. But if you look back so many years in Cameroon, you see that a kilogram of dried pepper is always at least 3,000 francs and above. So that's what we are talking about. So I'm looking at it from a market. You know, there's always shortage of pepper. That's why the price is so high. So the demand is there. We're not looking for demand. So that's what I'm saying. To answer the question, the guy that wants advice, do not grow cocoa, do not grow palms. You know, it's very simple. Grow pepper, grow ginger. We need it for the medicines. We need it for the money. It's expensive. You can actually make money. Then to come back to your question, I work for Planco Limited, which is an agro-industrial company. So what we have done in Cameroon is set up a school. So we're training people. We're providing the training, the expert training at a very, very, very favorable cost. And we've designed it in such a way that you don't need so many academic qualifications. because agriculture is something we know naturally. We just need to formalize our skills and clean some of the cultural practices that are actually detrimental to agriculture. So it's something that we already know. We just need to polish it up. So voluntary, I don't know about the voluntary sector, because mostly in this country, people will go out there and get funding for A, B, C, then they'll come here and just do a small show and, you know, fool you here, fool you there, and say that they've taught you how to grow. No, I'm discouraging that. If you want to do agriculture, go to a formal institute that is regulated, that you can show what you come out of. You have a national diploma or a higher national diploma or a degree to prove your knowledge, and you've had time on a practice farm to practice all you've learned. So all these voluntary things here and there, I'm not for it. But I'm discouraging cash crops. Grow something that you're going to make lots of money from.
But I also add by saying that it's nice to study. It's nice to get a diploma, that's what you're saying. But when you look at the masses, they don't even have that money to go to those schools that you're talking about. So my point is, I want them to learn, but you have to learn it locally. I'm urging, maybe even your organization, maybe your company, you should try to come out with with programs that doesn't entail money. Program that goes there to help people. Go down to villages. Every village has a chief. And that chief in the village can rally everybody in that village at a particular point in time. And when they come there, you sensitize them. The village can also dedicate 1 or 2 individuals and say, okay, let us send you to this school. The village stands, we send you to the school. Through the government can empower chiefs by saying, okay, in this particular community, I will sponsor 3 of your children to this school, and that those children will come back and educate the rest without money.
Again, let me just point out that there is a way of doing things. Like currently, we are working with cooperatives. So there is funding for cooperatives to train their members from the ministry, from Soweda. These people don't know that this money is there. They don't have the skills. So what we are doing is we go in, we evaluate their skills needs. We then apply for the training on their behalf. So they get the training. So I'm trying to go down now on examples. So that's how you improve this training. Again, the government through the Ministry of Vocational and Employment also gives scholarships to all these higher institutes. So people are training in marine tourism, whatever. So we don't have enough of those institutes focusing on agriculture to get the scholarships from the government to train anybody.
Okay.
So there is training, there is funding in that sector. So we should be looking at these things. And again, let me give an example. I live in Europe. But my farm doesn't have a road where I'm growing my pepper, because I'm actually growing pepper. It doesn't have a road, so I have to sit on an Okada, if I should use the local name, a motorcycle, on an hour to get to my farm. So I really want to make this for people to understand. You know, I leave all the trains and the nice transport in Europe, but I still come and do this because it's very important. It's very important that we do not think that agriculture should be left to people who didn't go to school. I went to school. I went to some of the best universities in the world. I'm still doing it. So that's an example of what the young people should actually be doing. In terms of training, we've set up a training institute. So people should come and get the skills and get dirty. Agriculture is dirty, but there's nothing wrong with it.
Few messages for you to react still. Cameroonians are encouraged to do agriculture. Where does one get the land, and how even if it is to buy, because land piece is owned in Cameroon. Nuga from Yaoundé. Can you tell us what the government is doing? Please, no calls. Please, please. Thanks for your kind understanding. Can you tell us what the government is doing about farm-to-market roads which are not there? As of now, we cannot get to my village where food is abundant but cannot be brought in town. Samson, Ane. Gumdiodane. This one, no, it's not for the program. We continue with more messages. I am happy to have got an interest in agriculture from Sase College. I think the 2 servants, oh my God, please. Please, no. I think the two servants should go back to Sase to revive our school fam. Charity begins at home. Some people identifying with some of you on the platform. God bless you all in the studio. Oh my God. God bless you all in the studio. I am Muketa Joe in Douala. I love agriculture and I've been growing watermelon, which is highly consumed all over the world. I need some advice on this product, for I lost 2 million francs last season. I will be happy if I can get help on these domain. And our researchers need to tell us the bad effects that fertilizers cause on our land or the products. And for example, fast-growing vegetables and fruits. I'm afraid to consume fruits from Jumbe. Thanks, Edmond from Nkoleka. Oh my God. Why are you this stubborn? Please send us messages. They'll be able to answer your questions directly. Ndikum Indwale says, using the chiefs in the villages is just another way of patronizing the corrupt institutions in place. Thanks. Okay, since many people are calling, maybe we just react to the few messages. You heard some of the messages coming again. For the person who wants to actually delve in agriculture, taking into consideration the production of watermelon, what do you have to tell him?
He made mention of the fact that he lost 2 million.
2 million last season.
But the whole thing about this, we don't know how the loss came from. So we can't really join that question. Yeah, because the losses might come from so many different angles. So I think after this, you have the contact, then they can give him information, because we need further information to be able to talk to him.
All right, you may just write to us to the email address abanda@stvgroup.com, so that we will liaise. We put you in contact with the panelists of VOV 51. Few seconds or few minutes to wrap up this edition. Just before we go, why the passion despite all these challenges in the agriculture sector?
Okay, let me just say something. I think for me personally, I've been having this passion for agriculture, and I think I will continue, I will live and die agriculture, because one, from my background, I lived all my life with my grandparents, who were typical. My grandfather was a typical teacher, primary school teacher, and agriculturalist. My grandmother was a housewife and a farmer and a traditional gynecologist. So, from all my primary school level, I've been seeing all this cultivation of egusi, this cocoa, plantains, and everything. So I followed that up till university level. I worked on tomatoes for masters, and then entered plantain. So I'm specialist, banana entomologist. I work on plantains and that. So it came from there. Then when I tried some ventures in agriculture, like supply, we have Agrovita Services and Consulting in Boya, which we supply some of these seedlings and do some of this other information that people want, like for watermelon. You know, I discovered that I could make some money by supplying just plantain seeds within 3 months. You can invest 800,000 and get, you know, about 1.5 million gain, you know. So that pushed me more and more into it, and teaching students and teaching people who come out and also do something in the agriculture domain like you has also been a joy to me, and also helped to be pushing me further and further in the agriculture sector.
Why your passion? Maybe they'll understand better, despite all the difficulties and challenges incurred in the agriculture domain.
Just like you said, I grew up in an area where agriculture was predominantly everything there. So I was helping my grandparents in the farm. But then my passion in agriculture also stemmed from the fact that I like to encourage people, and I like to see every individual has something on the table. And when I look at the country, I look at my country, and I discover that about 70 to 80% of the population actually dwells in agriculture. And I discovered that you need to do something out there to help the society. So my passion is to help the society. That's why I studied agricultural development. It's to see how agriculture can create impact in the lives of people, in the lives of individuals. And I know there, when I went to Malaysia, I did the research in Malaysia, he was there in Malaysia at that time that I went. I could not believe what I saw. Palms that they got it from here, they don't even know red oil. The red oil that we have locally, they don't know in Malaysia, but they are the #1 producer of palms. Everything, it is made, the finished products. They start it and they do it everything. Every local farmers sells to the big parastatal and they do the production. They don't know red oil. It's only Cameroon that knows red oil. But then, if you see the palm that we have in Cameroon, anybody can live with the palm. I can put the palm tree by my side because I'll use the red oil to cook. I'll feed myself. I can sell to another person. So it is a live product that goes round. Me, I for one, if you have money, I encourage a lot of people to palms because there's no waste product in palm. Everything there, even the hard kernel is used for something. So everything there, you use it for something. So my passion is to help various individuals.
Why your passion despite the difficulties?
Yeah, like Arali said, agriculture is our culture, our inheritance, and honestly, I like reaching people by giving them the knowledge in this domain because my background too was that of agriculture. My parents too, they lived on it, and I discovered that they were living on it and they were doing so well without any knowledge of letters, chemistry, biology, science, anatomy, physiology, and but then, so I had that passion now to get into it and reach a wider population. So I have that passion to teach and make people know that we have a lot in terms of medicine in these vegetables. And if we regulate and make use of them well, sickness will be out of our topic. For instance, look at bitter leaf, still remain one of the best remedy for diabetes 1. But it must be harvested in the dry season or in the tropical area so that it should be very bitter. Because it's not only supplying the body with natural vegetable insulin, it's also stabilizing the sugar. So in a summary, everything we need is just around us. And we just need to go the agricultural way.
A few seconds, Emmanuel can say, why your passion despite the difficulties, and do we need an agricultural revolution to get the youths to understand that they must be involved in the milieu?
Indeed, my passion is really a passion for Africa. For when you study in Cameroon and you go out there in Europe, you've been probably some of the best schools in Cameroon. You go out in Europe and you realize that you become a second-class citizen. For some reason, everything is already, so the Europeans have already done everything. They're good in computers, they're good in engineering, whatever. So where do we fall as Africans? What is it that in Africa that we can do, that we already more than prepared, that we can lead the world in? When I've looked at that, I think agriculture is the one thing that we have everything that we can use to lead the world, and that's my passion.
The first question becoming the last, so that you understand the essence of involving yourselves in the agricultural sector to fight poverty, hunger, misery, and the high rate of unemployment in our society. We come back next week on VOV 52 to delve on technical education, a gateway for employment markets. You watch the rebroadcast tomorrow at 10 p.m. and another edition on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Meantime, your voice of the passion has overridden the voice of reason, which of course is what you wanted to hear, and that's why we came to talk about it, so you get a grip of what you must do to impact that change that you all long for. Thank you so much for watching, and stay glued in the company of programs on Spectrum Television. Good afternoon.